Hey you guys, it's Britt. Today I'm jumping on to put some makeup on, and I also wanted to talk to you guys about a channel that I had recommended several weeks ago to you guys. I had some more recent thoughts, and I also wanted to explain why I am retracting my recommendation. So if you are interested, please keep watching. Hey guys. So I am starting with this Almay Velvet Foil Cream Shadow in Golden Vibes. These are really great little cream eyeshadows. Okay, so today's topic, we're gonna get right into it. I am retracting a recommendation for a channel that I made in a video. It's probably been a couple weeks. You guys could look back. It was one of the videos that I was discussing Shane Dawson. And I made a channel recommendation of Without a Crystal Ball. And I am here today to retract that recommendation. I'm not going to take that video down because I think that it's an important video to have on my channel. I want you guys to know that I am not recommending her or her content, at least as of right now. Okay, and I'm going to use this little pigment today. This is the Alexa Persico HD Pigment in Pixie Dust. So first of all, let's start out with, how did I discover Without a Crystal Ball? I discovered her because she was covering tons about the Micah and James Stauffer situation. So that is where I initially discovered her content. She was making tons of videos about Micah and really talking about stuff that nobody else was bringing up. So I thought that she was consistent, and y'all know I've said in other videos, I like consistency. I like when people, even if someone's consistent is once a week, that's okay, as long as it's consistently once a week. But with her, she was actually uploading quite a bit on her channel. I noticed that she would do a lot of live streams and, so whatever. I was like, maybe live streams are her thing. Some YouTubers really like to go on live and some never go on live, and that's all up to the creator and what they want to do. I would love to get to the point where I can go on live. I have to wait till I have 1,000 subscribers, but I am really excited for that day to come because I would love to just be able to interact with you guys and talk in, like an open forum. I think that would be really cool. So one day. So yeah, that's kind of the first thing that I noticed, is that she would go on live a lot. So yeah, she was doing a lot with Micah Stauffer, and I kind of looked a little bit further back on her page, and it seemed like before the Micah and James situation, she would cover a lot of like teen mom and teen mom drama. And then also a lot with like the Duggar family. What was their show on TLC called? I can't remember, but she would discuss a lot of stuff with that family, but she never really covered YouTube drama, at least based on the, few videos that I went back and looked at. But it seemed like a lot of people discovered her because of the Micah and James situation. So obviously, once she saw the success, she continued making tons of videos about it. And I can't really fault her for making videos about Micah and James, because I do think that that was a situation that deserved to be talked about. And I wish that more creators would have shed light on that, because, man, that's just like the craziest situation. I discovered her, and I also discovered Josh from the Dad Challenge podcast, all because of what Micah and James had done. Josh is great. He's also doing a series on why he's an ex-pastor, which has me just like totally hooked. So if you guys are interested in someone else, go watch his content. I've watched enough of him to be able to say that I can comfortably recommend his channel. When I recommended Katie's channel, I had not looked into her enough, and I had not done the discovery that maybe I should have before I made the recommendation to you guys. So that will never happen again, because anytime I am recommending someone, I have either, done a little bit of research or been watching them for a long enough period of time to feel okay recommending their content. When I recommended Katie, I had only been watching her content for a week or two. At the time, it had not been very long at all. So yeah, basically, she didn't really cover a whole lot of YouTube stuff, is what I noticed. And then she started covering the whole Shane Dawson thing. And when she had pinned her Twitter or discussed her Twitter in a video, and I will not be using any of her content in my video, and I'll explain that in a few minutes. But I saw this Twitter thread that she had started showing a lot of Shane Dawson's really all the problematic stuff that most of you have seen by this point. She had a whole thread, and that's why I had mentioned it in my video, because it was kind of like one place that people could go if they didn't know about all of this stuff, and they could just sort of look at it in one place, if that makes sense. So basically that happened, and I put my video up, and then I started, seeing, because I was watching her content, I would see other videos pop up here and there. The algorithms on YouTube are very weird sometimes, but they would, not they, but it would be recommended to me to watch other videos of people talking about her. And I'm like, what could this be about? And so I watched some of these videos of people saying that she is, unable to handle criticism and all of this kind of stuff. And initially I just kind of tuned it out, because I'm like, okay, whatever, like everyone has their opinion and that's fine. I'm not gonna just like not watch someone because one person on the internet has made a 20-minute video about them. So time would go on, and I would notice in her live streams, she would, a lot of times, her comments would be for her members only. And that's kind of where my ears first perked up, because I'm sitting here and I'm like, not every single YouTuber that I follow does a lot of live streams, but the ones that I do have experience with, there's not many of them that are doing live streams and consistently only allowing members only. Ooh. That's just not a normal thing that I've seen. So I'm like, this is quite interesting that she would be so pressed to only see comments from her members. And then I remembered how that other video that I watched said that she can't take criticism. So now I'm starting to put two and two together, and I'm like, okay, so her members are not criticizing her, so she wants to see those comments. It's kind of like the idea of Jeffree Star blocking all his haters. That way, if all your haters are blocked, then you're only seeing the ones that like you and the ones that are building you up. So that's sort of a real basic rundown of my initial sort of first glance at Without a Crystal Ball. Now, there have been a few specific things that have happened that I cannot agree with at all and have pushed me to unsubscribe from her channel. So first of all, let's talk about I'm not going to say the word because I don't want to have to edit it out, but you guys all know what I'm talking about. She has been someone who has been overly vocal about the fact that her son hasn't left the house since March, and everyone needs to be staying at home. Nobody should be going out, wear a mask. And while I completely agree with the wearing a mask thing, like if you are choosing to go out, do the courtesy and do the right thing, wear a mask, social distance, all that good stuff. But to berate your audience and just ridicule anyone who is making the decision to go out and not knowing, just because someone goes out, that doesn't mean that they're not wearing a mask. Unless you see it with your own two eyes, you have no idea what people are doing, So you can't sit there and hear from your subscribers or people that come across your live stream and they say, oh, well, I'm going to XYZ. That doesn't mean that they're not wearing a mask. So either way, that's fine. She's been very vocal about that. However, what I have a problem with is when people want to come down on, people who are going out and complaining about how they haven't left the house in X number of months. And then they pop up on their channel with lip fillers. That to me is not a necessity. So do not sit there and ridicule your audience for going out and whatever, and then come back with fresh lip filler done. The whole thing sort of reminds me of someone who wants to dish it out but can't take it when it's given back to them. Like, I can do what I feel like doing, but I'm gonna tell everyone how things should be done, but I'm still gonna do whatever I wanna do. And those are honestly the worst type of people. In my opinion, it's just like, just shut the fuck up. Like, please shut up and stop talking. Like, you cannot sit there and quite literally call a kettle black while you're doing the exact thing that you're telling people not to do. So yeah, that was kind of one thing that I was looking at her sideways for. And then the second thing is that, if you guys remember, I mentioned the Sanders Kennedy debacle that he started. I think it was in one of my car chats videos from a few weeks ago, and how, I no longer will look at him for any information. I'm done, whatever. And it's funny because that night, I just so happened to see Katie Joy's video before Sanders' actual video. And I think it's because she was on live. So when I opened my subscriptions, her live was sitting right there at the top. And she was discussing Sanders' video that had just come out. And she got on live super fast. I have to say that too. I always thought that that was a little weird. Like, how did she get on live so quickly? But either way, that's here nor there. But it was very odd because she not only repeated and sort of backed his video without doing any of her own research. She linked his video in her description box. And then once the heat came back and people were unhappy, she went on another live and basically threw Sanders under the bus completely. So you went from one day engaging in it and entertaining it to the next day completely, flipping the script and, saying that it was all wrong. But you're the one that chose to go on live so quickly and discuss something that you did no research on. So, and this is the problem if you are going to be a creator, and I'm not, the gatekeeper for anyone, but if you are going to be one of those creators who makes a habit of going on live a lot, and if you're talking about very recent events, it doesn't really give you enough time to research and figure out what the hell is actually going on. And by doing that, you're spreading false information, you're losing the trust of your subscribers. And the whole thing is she wasn't even someone who covered YouTube drama. But I think that what happened was with the Micah and James situation, she got a lot of subscribers and a lot of popularity within like a week or 2 weeks. So she just figured that covering YouTube drama is going to get more views and more clicks than the Teen Mom and Duggar stuff. I don't know. This all comes back to what I've said before, where if you're going to be a drama channel or a commentary channel, I don't even know what she calls herself. I kind of look at her like the TMZ of YouTube, because honestly, there's little to no research that goes into her videos. And it just kind of has an icky feeling to me personally. But if you are going to be one of those channels, you need to do a fair amount of research before you just hop on live and start dishing out possible misinformation, disrespecting people. When people do come to you with questions, you're turning your comments off so it's members only. You're deleting comments once the video is posted. You have to be open to some critique. You're talking about other people's lives, so you can't just shut it down when someone comes to you with a question or a critique. Okay, so let's also talk about, I almost forgot about this. I want to talk about what I ended up learning about Katie Joy copyright striking Angelica Oles. So Angelica is someone that I do subscribe to. I don't watch all of her content because, quite frankly, sometimes she's just dissecting the same old stuff and it's just not what I'm interested in. But I do like Angelica. I think she's, level-headed about the stuff that she talks about. I don't think that she shows any real level of bias to anyone in the beauty community. She talks about beauty community drama. So it was sort of odd because Angelica did a video a few weeks ago where I think she was discussing the Sanders-Kennedy situation. Honestly, all these videos are just sort of blending together right now. But I'm pretty sure she was discussing Sanders-Kennedy, and she mentioned Without a Crystal Ball, and she shared with her audience an encounter that she had with Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. And I thought it was kind of odd because I'm like, oh, well, I've been a subscriber of Angelica. Like, who knew that she would have had an encounter Without a Crystal Ball? That's kind of odd. Well, basically what happened was Angelica was very new on the scene in the commentary YouTube creator world. And I believe she cited an article that Katie had written and didn't credit Katie. So let me tell you guys what I would have done if I was in that position. you know, it's not good for other people to use your stuff and not credit you. But if the other person is willing to meet you in the middle and come to some sort of resolution, copyright striking a video is a really big deal. If you get, I believe it's 2 copyright strikes within a 90-day period, YouTube is like all eyes on your channel. Your channel can get taken down. So it's a very big deal. And instead of Katie wanting to reach out to Angelica and say, look, this isn't cool, I want to fix it, so I'm either going to copyright claim your video or just give me credit and we'll call it a day. Like, I don't know, I'm not a super vindictive person, so if someone did that to me, I would reach out, and if I got a response, then I would want to work it out, because I don't want copyright strikes on my channel, so I wouldn't just, and especially for something so minuscule, based on what Angelica explained, is that it was like a 30-second clip of what she used out of her entire video. And Angelica's not one of those people who posts like 4-minute videos. They're usually, you know, pretty lengthy. So for it to be such a small clip, like, okay, just give me credit and we'll call it a day. But Katie went and decided to copyright strike her. Wow, like, that is wrong for so many reasons. But what's even worse about it is you would think, okay, well, someone did that, they're wrong, but I'm sure that they worked it out. No. Katie said that she would not trust Angelica to pay her for it, so she wouldn't remove the strike. That is so crazy. Like, I understand, okay, maybe you can't trust people who are, you know, who you don't know, and I get that, but I don't know, man. I believe in karma so much. I am such a big believer in karma, and I think that if you're out here treating people like that, eventually it's going to come back. And was it really that big of a deal? I think she tried to blame her employer, and say that her employer was the one that made her do it or something like that. Like, I don't even know what to believe, but it's not like she uploaded a video and used, you know, half of it was content from Without a Crystal Ball. So I don't know. Someone would quite literally have to like just re-upload my content and not give any context for me to even want to go down that route. And even then, I would try to talk to them because, again, call me crazy, but I believe that, you know, what you put out will come back around. And it might not be anytime soon, but I've seen it happen far too many times. So the other thing that a lot of people have been discussing about Without a Crystal Ball has to do with an interview that she gave a fellow commentary channel by the name of BX Beast Boy. I had no clue who he was until I was in one of her live streams and people were saying, it was, you know, one of the times she actually allowed everyone to talk. Everyone was like, oh, that's so messed up what you did to BX Beast Boy. Like, how could you, blah, 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 BX Beast Boy, da, da, da. So I'm like, who is BX Beast Boy? Like, I had never heard of him before. So I go over to his channel and he explained how essentially he gave Katie Joy the opportunity to come on his channel to clarify her Sanders Kennedy mess that she had gotten herself into. And she took up the opportunity. He showed DMs and everything, like it's all legit. And then she went back and tried to say that he recorded her illegally. If that doesn't sound like the most Karen thing to do, agree to an interview and then try to say that someone recorded you illegally. I cannot make this shit up. So I'm just sitting here like, you know, it seems like what happens with her is that as soon as she feels like something is not in her favor, that's when she like flips the script and like plays the victim. And I cannot stand people like that, you know, and I can't stand people like that in real life, but especially on YouTube, if you are creating content talking about other people for a living and, you know, you're monetized, especially like you are getting paid to talk about other people, and then you're gonna sit there and freak out when someone has a critique or a comment or anything along those lines. I kind of think, I feel like I have a little piece of mascara, that's nice. And I almost feel like that would be the one word of advice that if, you know, and I'm not like the Wizard of Oz here, but if I was gonna give a piece of advice to anyone starting a YouTube channel, it would be that you have to be open to criticism. I don't get a lot of it on my channel because my channel is still so small, but I have gotten some criticism. Most of it has been stupid and pointless, in my opinion, but you have to be open to it. If any like not shining comment is gonna just ruin your day, YouTube might not be for you, and that's okay. But when you have someone like her who is creating content and being paid to talk about other people's lives, and you know, she also talked about Danielle Cohn, and also side note, I need to update my other video and put a pinned comment. I am not going to be discussing the Danielle Cohn situation. I thought about it overnight and I just don't want to bring any more attention to it. I might change my mind later on and formulate a different type of video to do about that, but as of right now, I don't think that I want to discuss her on my platform. Again, my mind could change, but as of right now, I don't want to add anything to that person. So anyway, so Katie did a video talking about Danielle Cohn, and there were very provocative images of Danielle that she used in her video. She did not block out the images, she didn't blur anything, and you know, we're talking about someone who's 14. And Katie is 40 something putting these photos on her video discussing this young girl and analyzing this situation. It's just not right. Like, there's so many things that she does that just rub me the wrong way. She also discussed Naya Rivera's unfortunate accident that she was in. Like, immediately, as soon as the news broke, like, she was on live stream discussing it. You know, I never believe in getting any money or being paid to discuss someone else's untimely passing. I just don't agree with it. I think that it's cringeworthy. I will never do anything like that on my channel. I think that it's wrong on so many different levels. So it's just like, ooh, I don't know, like, you're making all of this content revolving around discussing every little facet of people's lives. And then when someone calls you out on something or has a, you know, constructive comment or even a not constructive comment, you cannot just like shut down the comments, delete comments. People are hating on me. You know, to me, that reminds me a lot of Jeffree Star, who is like, acts like he's okay with everything, but then will delete tweets, delete comments, shut off comments. Like she, will only open her comments for members only. Like the whole thing is just rubs me the wrong way. And like I've said before, for a commentary channel, I like to listen to people who can have a healthy conversation about said topic, but not act like the victim as soon as something is brought their way. Okay, I'm gonna use some of this Jouer lip balm again. This is in Champagne Kiss. Oh, and there is also a clip that I have seen going around YouTube of, Katie Joy has been very vocal about Shane Dawson and his problematic past that has recently come up, obviously. And there is a clip where she was in a video with, I believe, her husband, talking about how when she turns into a grandma, she is going to be inappropriate towards younger boys because she has earned it. So, this is just time and time again showing that you are dishing things out, and then when things like this are brought up, you ignore them or you get rid of the people so that they're not saying anything. I don't know. I would just say that anyone who is thinking about doing commentary on YouTube, you've really got to have a thicker skin and be open to people. You're critiquing other people's lives, but then when someone has a critique of you, it's, because they're a hater. And that's just not the case at all. And there's other things that I've heard about her that I'm not going to repeat on here. If you guys are curious, you can do your own research, but like really bad stuff, obviously it's all alleged because I have no proof. But it's just crazy. All right, you guys, so this is the end of the video. As always, I hope everything I said makes sense to some degree. I just didn't want to leave my video out there and have people come across it and think that I support without a crystal ball, and never clarify anything. So obviously I am retracting my recommendation, and I am vowing to you guys that anything I recommend in the future, I will make sure that I do my due diligence and my research before I suggest, a content creator on this platform. So if you like this video, please leave me a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.